Hi grade 9s. Okay, so here we go again with another informative video. We're going to continue on with scales this week. I know you had so much fun with them last time. I could tell from your assignments. But we're going to show you actually a little bit of an easier way. I actually kind of play a dirty trick on you. I make you do the really hard way of doing major scales, and then I show you the easy way. It's kind of like in math class when they show you this big complicated formula and then they're like, okay, now you just need to know this part of the formula to be able to figure everything else out. So we're going to move on. So let's review. First of all, major scales. Compare the two things that we have on the screen. So the top one, which just has, and I'm going to go to, oh, do I have a pointer? A nice scale. What does that scale start on? Anybody know? What does the scale start on? It starts on F. So we call it an F major scale. And so then we do our tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. And we realize that that note right there has to be a B flat to make that pattern fit. Now, if you look at the bottom one, if you do the same thing, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, I can take the B flat that was here, that flat that was on the B, and put it over in our key signature. That's what that's called. That space in between your treble clef and your time signature is called a key signature. And that's where we can actually put all the flats or sharps that we're going to need for the whole piece, or in this case, scale, all the time. So like I said, I kind of played a nasty trick on you. Here I made you do the scale the long way by adding accidentals when I could just teach you how to deal with key signatures, and you can do the scales that way from now on. I know, you're welcome. So first things first, and you can do this on your sheet. You can practice writing the scale or writing the sharps in. And the sharps always go in the same order, okay? They always go F, then C, then G, then D, then A, then E, then B. F, C, G, D, A, E, B. And it has kind of a pattern. Up, down, 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 up, down. It's always that kind of zigzaggy pattern. Never write, for example, this F sharp, never write it down here. No, don't write it down there. Don't like it. Always goes in that order. And that pattern follows the same in the bass clef as well. Here we have the 2, and then the 3, then the 2. It's always done that way. So take a minute and practice. And make sure, I called some of you out on this before, when you draw a sharp, if it's supposed to be on this line, make sure it hits that line. Don't just draw it anywhere. You guys are driving me nuts with that. Okay, so same thing. With the F sharp down here, we draw it right on the line. If it's a space one, for example, our C, oh look, it's in the space. Oh, nice. Okay, so we don't just draw them anywhere. They have to be on the line or space that they're affecting. Okay, pause this for a second. Try practicing drawing those sharps. All right. I don't know why that's there. Blah, 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 blah. Flats. Same thing, same problem for flats. They always go in the same order. B, E, A, D, G, C, F. B, E, A, D, G, C, F. They always go in the same order. They always have the same pattern. Same into the bass clef. Never write, say like that E flat. Don't write it down here. Don't break the pattern. We like patterns. Don't do it. Okay? So same thing. Take a second. Practice writing your flats. And again, the flat should happen on the line or the space that it's affecting. Don't just draw them anywhere. Okay, so take a second, practice that. I know it seems like a silly little thing, but practice. All right. Before we go on to kind of figuring out the sharps and flats, there is one thing we have to do. C major. C major is our fun one. We always like C major because it has no sharps and no flats. It is the only key signature that has no sharps and no flats in it. So it's the only one you have to memorize. For everything else, there's a way to figure it out. But this one, you just got to know. C major. No sharps, no flats. All right. So ways to figure out your key signatures for scales. So say I said G major, you could look at this thing called the circle of fifths, and I'll tell you why it's the circle of fifths in a minute. And if I said G major, you would just find G, and then you would find the key signature for G. Oh, easy peasy. This circle, this wheel, is really handy. So I could find anything. Back to D flat. Oh, look, there's a D flat, and there's the key signature. And it shows me. It's awesome. Don't worry about the inside of the circle yet. That's not until you're in grade 11. So the circle of fifths is really handy. The reason it's called circle of fifths is that if we start at C major, which has no sharps or flats, that's our starting point, and we go to the right, and I count up 5 in our musical alphabet. What's 5 up? Count C though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's G. That's a fifth. Now what's 5 up from G? Count G. G is 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's a fifth. What's 5 up from D? Remember, count D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's A. So if you go around the circle, they're a fifth every time. It's kind of freaky. Okay? So that's why it's called, wait for it, the circle of fifths, because it's a fifth around. And so you can figure things out that way. Some of you may have seen the seniors go over to the side wall where the big timpani drum is, because there's a big poster of the circle of fifths on the wall. So kind of helpful. Nice little reference. Growing up, oh, sorry, this is not where I want to go. There we go. We'll go back to the chart in a second. Growing up, I never got the circle of fifths. Nope, not never. I had to suffer through just knowing the rhyme. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. And that's the actual order of sharps. If you go this way, it is the order of sharps. So Father Charles goes down. And first sharp is always F, then C, then G, then D. And there's kind of a cool trick that if I have 2 sharps, let's say, F sharp and C sharp. And let me write out my musical alphabet. B, C, D. E. Ooh, what was I doing there? E. Oh, I was trying to combine D and E. That was useful. In a momento. Look, I have an eraser. B, C, D. There we go. E, F, G. All right. So I have 2 sharps. F sharp and C sharp. If I go down here to my musical alphabet and I go up 1 from C sharp, my last sharp there, I get D. That's the key signature for D major. Okay, let's do another one. I'll just show you the pattern. Let's do Father Charles goes. Okay, so G sharp. Let's add 1 more sharp. Okay, so I take my last sharp. I find it in my musical alphabet. And then I go up 1. It's A. So that's the key signature for A major. You can even go farther. Father Charles goes down, D sharp, take it, find it, go up 1, is E major. So you can do that. That's the pattern. And like I said, I never had the circle of fifths growing up, learning piano lessons. I did it this way because I really like patterns. Now here's the even cooler thing. So we just dealt with sharps. If you do this rhyme, Father Charles goes down and ends battle, backwards, you get the order of flats. Battle ends and down goes Charles' father. Order of flats. First flat's always B, then E, then A, then D, then G, then C, then F. That's kind of cool. Even cooler still, and I'm going to leave our musical alphabet here for a sec. I'm just going to erase these sharps. There's a bit of a pattern, again, another pattern, for flats. So let's say I have B flat and E flat. I go to the last flat, and then I go to the second last flat. And the second last flat is actually the key I'm in, B flat. So B flat major has 2 flats. If I go 1 more, A flat major, take it, go to the second last one. So A flat is battle ends and B, E, A is the key signature for E flat major. And same thing. So you can continue this pattern. It's getting a little cluttered up there. So for example, if I had B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. I take my last flat, I go back 1. That's the key signature for A flat major, B, E, A, and D flat. Okay, so there's a pattern there too. There's always a pattern. All right, so first things first, let's go back to the chart. It's on your sheet. Try and complete it. So if there's no sharps or flats, what is it? Okay, 1 sharp, 1 flat, 2 sharp, 2 flat, and go all the way through. So you can pause this video for a sec while you fill that out. All right, so if you've got the chart done, you looked at the pattern, if you looked at the circle of fifths, now try and name the following scales. And you actually have kind of 2 subtle hints in naming the following scales. Look at what the scale starts on, because remember, whatever the scale starts on is what we've named it. And then you can double check the key signature. So just make sure that that starting note isn't affected by something happening in the key signature. All right. And as always, if you have any questions or comments about the homework, come and see me during MSIP. For some of you in the first period class, hey, you have MSIP with me, so no excuses this week. For my period 4 music class, you're going to have to come and find me, but hey, I'm probably going to be either in 140 or 141. So come and ask before Theory Thursday so that you don't get totally stumped by the assignment. All right. See you later.